Hello everybody from YouTube, this is Negative1 streaming on the DLE channel, coming to you today with some ban list predictions slash wish list, some things that I want to get changed, or some things that I think will be changed. It's a mix of both, so some of these things are some things that I think need to be, or should be addressed in the game, they whether it's overuse, or this deck has been around for too long, or this deck is a problem and they should do something for any of those reasons. Or maybe it's because I know that a lot of people are unhappy with a certain deck, or oh, this deck gets played so much, it's so annoying, they should do something about it. So some of these decks are or some of these hits are because I want them, and I will be very clear that some of these decks, I think, some of these nerfs definitely should happen, in my opinion, and then some of these nerfs I think are gonna happen because there is a very public outcry for them. So, yeah. So it's a mix of both. It's not all mine, just all of my opinions. The first one I think is Cyber Dragons. So if we go over to the Duel Links meta tier list, you will see that Cyber Dragons has been put to tier 3 for the current KC Cup tier list, and I think Cyber Dragons, it gets played in every KC Cup. For those that don't know, Cyber Dragons, it's not really that common in tournaments. It's not it's not like a topping deck. It's not like a consistent, oh, I'm playing a tournament, oh, I expect to see some amount of Cyber Dragons, so I should prepare for that. No. In most tournaments, Cyber Dragon is either not played, or played at maybe 4 people enter a whole tournament. It's very low representation. However, in every KC Cup, Cyber Dragon is everywhere. You see Cyber Dragon. Let's just open up an example deck. Using Fusion Gate, Fusion Support, just immediately out the gate, paying half their life points, summoning 2 Proto Cybers, so that they confuse multiple times with Fusion Gate, blow up the back row, attack 7 times, or however many times, deals a ton of damage. I think the fact that we've had this deck in the game for so long, we've had it for over a year, we've had it for, I think, 16 months at this point. It came out as the New Year's box of 2019 to 2020 in, it wasn't Judgment Force, but it was in the Dark Magician box. But that was it's been around for a long time, so I think we're at a point where they can comfortably say, yes, if you people who got this deck, they've got their value worth, So I think for the reason that it's very OTK focused, it's very every game just ends so quickly that it gets used everywhere in KC Cup. And it's been, if you've looked at the decks that do well in the past few KC Cups, you will always see Cyber Dragons in the top 10. Even if it's just one person, there's either one or there's multiple in the top 10. It's always there. It's just a fast deck that OTKs. So for that reason, I think because it's always around, and it's not very, it doesn't really change all that much, and it's very stale. For those reasons, I think it can definitely get a hit on this ban list. I think the next deck that I would say could get hit is Automats, and I think the only real hit that needs to happen, the hit that needs to happen, is Hatrunade getting banned. Alright? So we all know Hatrunade's not getting banned, so what will happen when it doesn't get banned, they'll just put Dododo draw to 2. It's like the reality, if a deck can use Trunade, at some point you just have to accept that Konami's going to put some card in the deck to 2, so that the deck can no longer use Trunade. You know the rules, and so do I. It's just how the cookie crumbles. Nothing crazy. Now, how to hit Dark Lords? Oh well, I scrolled a little more than I expected to. A lot of people have been talking like, oh well, what if you hit Sanctified, or what if you ban Sanctified or put Sanctified to 2, so that way you can't run like 2 X-Shell, 2 Contact, or you know, like you can't run 1 X-Shell, 1 Contact, 1 Sanctified. If you put Sanctified to 2 with those, then it's like they can only run like Contact and Sanctified, you know? Well, for those that don't know, in MCS there was a heavy amount of Dark Lords played, and some of them were running FA Hang On Mock. And a friend of mine was playing in the tournament, and he told me, or I saw a message from him where he was super angry that he lost to Dark Lords running Treacherous Trap Hole. And you might be thinking, wait, how can Dark Lord run Treacherous Trap Hole? They have X-Shell semi-limited. Jeez, scroll wheel please. They have X-Shell semi-limited. They have Dark Lord Contact semi-limited. So there's no way they can run Treacherous Trap Hole. That makes no sense. Well, I present to you Dark Lords with Treacherous Trap Hole. This deck is not running Contact, and it's not running Sanctified. So you gotta think, like, if Konami is doing something about Dark Lords, they have to recognize that if they hit the Contact or the Sanctified, it removes like the loop part of Dark Lords, so that Dark Lords can't, you know, just like loop life points infinitely, deck the opponent out. But the cards are still going to get used as a draw engine, and as we've seen in the past, Konami doesn't really like that. Most notably, they hit Master of Destiny. I think we saw Master of Destiny get used just so that they can use the Cup of Ace. It wasn't just Desperado. We saw Star Seraphs with Master of Destiny. So for that reason, I think they're not just gonna put like some hit on Contact or Sanctified. They're definitely gonna look at either X-Shell, banning X-Shell, or doing something on Banishment. So on the notepad here. Excuse me. Here we have what they can do is they either ban X-Shell, or they can also do Banishment to 3 and Star Seraph Scepter to 3. So what this does is that it removes Star Seraphs from the deck. And if they ban X-Shell, banning X-Shell will mean that other decks can't, you know, like splash just Dark Lord cards into the deck so that they can just have a draw engine, you know? Because Banishment, search X-Shell, like, it just means that you have 4 copies of a card that says draw 2 in your deck, and Konami doesn't really like that. As a side, they should also put Levianeer to 3, Chaos Dragon Levianeer. So for those that if you didn't notice, in this deck there was also Chaos Dragon Levianeer. And I think putting Levianeer to 3 is good because it prevents another deck from using Star Seraphs with Levianeer. Because if you remove Dark Lords, then some other deck is just going to run Star Seraphs, and then if it has Dark Monsters, it's just going to add Levianeer, because, I mean, why wouldn't you, you know? So just as a precaution, putting Levianeer to 3 hits Dark Lords in such a way, it also hits Levianeer so that it can't be used with other Limit 3s. It's a slight hit to Thunder Dragons, but not really. So it's a slight hit because it's putting Levianeer to 3, and Thunder Dragons use 3 Levianeer naturally. But Levineer isn't conflicting with any other cards that Thunder Dragons want to use, so for now it's not a hit to Thunder Dragons. However, in the future, if Thunder Dragons, you know, is a problem in the meta, or it's like it's too strong, it's too dominant, whatever the case, this is just like a warning. Like, for now, Thunder Dragons are fine. You can have 3 Levineer. However, in the future, if problems occur, then another hit can come. So I think for now, this hits Dark Lords, this hits the Star Seraphs. So in combination with Scepter to 3. So this hits Dark Lords and the Star Seraphs, but it doesn't hit some of the other decks that might want to run Levineer. And for that reason, it's fine. That now we have some of the skills: level log, level dupe, level reduction. Just make it until the end of the phase, or till the end of the turn. Like, there's no reason why we need to have level 14 hang on mocks every game, or like just macrocosmos. Like, that doesn't need to exist. So I think Konami can just say it was an unintended interaction, and then they just change the skill, and then hang on mock stops being, like, you know, such a problem. Maybe some people will try to use it to cheese like an OTK, and you know what? Alright, you can go for it, but just having it around as like a permanent floodgate that you need a tech card for, it's not healthy. So for that reason, hitting all 3 of these skills just for, you know, consistency, or like just having all 3 of them have the same clause of this skill or this level change stays until the end phase. So yeah, I think that's a good idea. Now for Blue Eyes, they have 2 options, I would say, like hitting the skill. They can make it so that it's turn 5 and onwards. I think right now, just the fact that on turn 3 Blue Eyes can fuse into a Twin Burst and then clear an entire board. Twin Burst is such a strong card, can't be destroyed by battle, and then if it doesn't destroy something by battle, you just banish it, so it really kills everything by battle, in air quotes. And just having that option on turn 3 is really just kind of, it's a little too powerful. So maybe tuning it down a little bit, whether that be on turn 5, or instead of just adding poly for free, you have to return a card, you know? So if you look at some of the other skills like Master of Fusions or Fusion Time, I think it's Fusion Time, if you lose the like 1,000 life points, you just return a card from your deck, from your hand to the deck, and then you add a poly from outside of the deck. So it seems reasonable that they might add the same clause to Ultimate Dragons, you know. And then I think Sage to 2, just so that they have some sort of like hit on the deck, just so that Blue Eyes isn't running Treacherous, Trap Hole. I think this doesn't look like a lot compared to like how much I wrote for Dark Lords, but I think this may be enough to you know, limit Blue Eyes. Moving on, Atlantean heavy infantry to 2. If you can't tell, if we go back to Duel Links meta, there's no water deck, there's no fish XYZ, there's no shark deck on the tier list. However, if you nerf all of these other decks, like, you gotta expect water is gonna come back. Like, the most responsible thing to do is to look at the meta, look at what's dominating, but also look at what was dominating before, and try to be realistic. If you nerf all of these decks, what's gonna happen? Like, Water XYZ is just gonna immediately come back into the meta, just a bunch of people are gonna play it, so for that reason, it's like the responsible thing to do is also hit like heavy infantry to 2, and this is hitting the deck in such a way that it can't run Treacherous Trap Hole. So it's a nerf. However, it's not really hurting the consistency of the deck because the deck can still run 3 Diva. So it's not like a big nerf, but it's still some way to, you know, just limit the deck a bit so that it's not like just immediately dominating the game as soon as all of these other decks get hit. And then Winda to 3. So I think Spiritual Beast, Tamer, Winda for a long time should have been put to 3, and part of it's just because it's a really splashable card. And for the same reasons, like, you don't want water to immediately come back into the meta, you don't want Invoked Neos with Winda to immediately come back into the meta. So for those reasons, I think putting Winda to 3, it doesn't hit Ritual Beasts all that hard, but it does hit, you know, just like Invoked Neos, trying to just use Winda as a stall card. So for that reason, they might. I think putting Winda to 3 is like a precautionary measure, just so that we're not just running, you know, Invoke Neos immediately after the ban list. And then ban Champions Vigilance, because someone in Twitch chat asked to unlimit Champions Vigilance. So, you know, we yeah, because someone asked for it. And then the last 3 here, for the love of God, ban Trunade already. Like, Trunade is just, it's kind of a problem card, and it's always been a problem card. Same with Treacherous Trap Hole, and then Enemy Controller. It's, you don't see Enemy Controller like come up as like a, oh, this card's is a problem, but it's definitely like a powerful card, and I think you either have to remove it from the game, or like, not remove it from the game, but like ban it, or you just unlimit it. So the reasoning here is that if only one player has access to Enemy Controller, it's kind of unfair, and it's just not very like interactive to just have a just like kill a monster, Econ take for game. Whereas if both players have access to Enemy Controller, there's like skillful interaction and like decision making. Like Econ take can be countered by another Enemy Controller, like blocking an attack. So for that reason, I think Econ, either ban it or unlimit it. I think Econ is the least like oppressive of all of these 3, but it's still a power card that you should be aware of. And then I don't have too much in terms of cards that should be unbanned, but I think maybe Cyber Angel Dakini is going to get freed. Maybe Pulse Mines, who knows. There's a lot of cards on the ban list that could probably get removed. And then I was thinking maybe they could do Inishi to 1. Something I was thinking about is that out of all the decks that got like unlimited, they haven't really unlimited a deck and then the deck actually is playable again. Fur Hires, for example, they've unlimited most of the cards and it sees absolutely no use. They've unlimited a lot of the Kokai Meru cards and they see no use. They've unlimited some of the Amazonas cards and it did top MCS. However, I think that's like a one-off thing. So there's very limited cases of, you know, decks that get freed and then actually get playable, like are actually playable again. So I think this is mostly just as a maybe, you know, as a like a show of good faith, and just letting another deck be a little more playable, even if 6-Ams don't become meta at all. Like just giving the people who do want to play that deck like a little more leeway in building their deck. I think it's fair. So those are my predictions slash wants or wishes for the ban list. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I hope some of these happen. Otherwise we're just gonna be playing Blue Eyes White meta I don't know. I couldn't think of a good pun in time. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Let me know what y'all think about ban list in the comments below. What y'all think. I don't know. I think there is a 0% chance in my mind that the current Dark Lord deck doesn't get hit in any way. And as much as I think Blue Eyes could like maybe skate by, I think it's very likely that this time we will see a Blue Eyes hit. So, but yeah, that's been Neg1. Let me know what you think.